When it comes to Japanese denim, there are no jeans with more history than the Osaka 5, which are 5 brands that helped pioneer the Japanese selvedge denim craze. These brands include Studio the Artisan, Evisu, Denim, Warehouse & Co., and last but not least, Full Count Denim Makers. And today I finally got my hands on one of the Osaka 5, which sometimes can be a little hard to get in the United States due to the limited quantities that are available. And I was so lucky because I actually got these jeans from Blue and Green and they sold out almost immediately once I copped. I finally got my hands on the Full Count 0105 wide leg 13.75 ounce denim that's made from a 100% Zimbabwe cotton, and we're gonna get to that in a second as towards why that's so important. But these jeans are actually in a one wash finish, so these jeans are made from an unsanforized denim but were factory washed to get rid of all of that shrinkage, all of the chemicals, all the nasty dyes, and also to just bring the blue in the jean to life. I mean, the look, the character, the feel of these jeans is so beautiful. It's so hairy. There's so many different shades of blues and indigos in the fabric. There's a slight slub in it, but not too slubby, so it still has a really nice, almost kind of uniform appearance with a little bit of texture to it. But really, to me, my favorite part of the texture is the hairiness that it has on top of the fabric. I mean, these are some of the hairiest jeans that I've ever had, and you get this a lot with one wash unsanforized denim because basically the process of sanforization includes actually cinching the top of the fabric to get rid of all of these excess hairs to make for a cleaner, more uniform denim. But to me, this fabric is just so beautiful. I really love unsanforized denim because this makes the fabric so beautiful, so texturized. It gives it such a nice character, and the one wash of this jean gives the fabric so many different beautiful shades of blue, especially on the seam details, by the waistband, the belt loops, around the pockets, on the back yoke, and even on the hem there's already some fading going on with a little bit of that indigo bleed, and I can't wait to see how that's gonna rope out. So I gotta say, I usually don't dabble in denim that's lower than 15 ounces just because I like a lot of body in my fabric. But these, while they're so lightweight, they have a lot of body, a lot of density to them, but they're not heavy at all, and they're really super comfortable and just so easy to wear, especially during the summer. And basically the hand feel, or the way that the jean feels on the skin, is literally probably the best that I've ever felt in my life. I reviewed a lot of jeans on this channel before, and I've also had a lot of jeans that weren't worth showing, and in my experience, this definitely has the most soft, almost cashmere-like kind of hand to the denim itself, and the reason is the use of the Zimbabwe cotton. So what is Zimbabwe cotton? Basically, Zimbabwe cotton is one of the longest staple cotton yarns in the world. It's super rare, it's super hard to cultivate, it has to be cultivated by hand, it's expensive to import, it requires a lot of care to weave, and because of the long staple fiber and the density of this fabric, it's still durable and is going to stand the test of time. So basically, when it comes to the Zimbabwe cotton, the owner of Full Count Denim Makers, the one who started it all, Mikiharo Tsuchita, wanted to make the most comfortable selvedge denim in the world ever made, so he decided to use the Zimbabwe cotton and have this fabric milled by the Shinya mills on some of the original cone mill shuttle looms that actually made some of the vintage Levi 501s, which were the jeans that actually inspired Mikiharo Tsuchita to start making denim as a whole. And this is what actually led to the birth of Full Count Denim Makers and was one of the key factors to popularizing Japanese denim as a whole. So let's get into the details. One thing I noticed about these jeans that I really love is that they have really nice thick belt loops with a roping in the middle of the seam to kind of raise the belt loop a little bit, which is actually going to lead to some beautiful fading. And I also just love how rustic and beautiful the seam details are. The stitching is immaculate. It just feels so Japanese, handmade, traditional. I mean, this chain stitch is absolutely gorgeous. It's so clean. There's no threads coming out at all, and it's finished at the fly so expertly, so beautifully. This is just super cleanly done. The fly detail, while it is serged, there's virtually no loose threads at all, and it's very uniform. It looks like the machine that was used to do this was calibrated perfectly. Even the stitching details on the inside of the pockets is gorgeous, and the pocket bag fabric is actually sturdy. This is definitely gonna last a long time. These jeans are fully outfitted with hidden back pocket rivets. On the inside, you have a tag. I'm assuming this says 100% cotton. You have a care label, size 33, 0105, which is their widest fit jean that they have. And then it has some other stuff which I wish I could read. The inside of these jeans is just super clean. It almost makes me wonder how these jeans are not $500+ to be honest with you. I got these for I think $300 at Blue and Green, which to me is honestly a super fair price. Now the Full Count & Co patch on the back is actually made from a goat skin leather, and because of the one wash treatment, this actually has a really nice rustic kind of look, and I love the way that it kind of crinkled down. And you can see this has the fit 0105, waist 33, length 34, which is reminiscent of the old Levi's. And another thing that I love about this jean is on the front coin pocket, you have a beautiful Selvedge ID hidden inside, but on the sides you actually have a little bit of a peak, like a minimalist kind of Selvedge ID poking out on the sides, giving you a little bit of that touch, which I really love. So I've actually already started wearing these jeans. It's been about 2 weeks or so of consistent wear, so obviously I'm not seeing any fading yet, but the creases are setting in beautifully, especially for something that's been one washed and doesn't have that much starch. This hairy texture to the fabric is just so gorgeous. It's honestly really hard to describe how good these jeans feel. It's so hard, it's so difficult to convey how incredibly cashmere silky soft, but still a little rugged, still durable. These jeans are incredible. Going to the hem, again, you have an absolutely gorgeous, impeccably done chain stitch hem, and I've noticed that on a lot of repro pieces, the chain stitch is actually really not as raised, not as textured as other denim chain stitches are, so this is reminiscent of that, but these are really cleanly done. You also have a very beautiful light pink Selvedge ID that almost doesn't even have a color, it almost looks white, but I really love this pink Selvedge ID. I'm a sucker for pink Selvedge ID, and if you guys have been on this channel before, you know that that's my favorite. I just love the pink. Even though you might not see it, I know that it's there, and that's all I need. Now these jeans do have an overlocked inseam, and I've theorized before on this channel that a lot of Japanese denim actually uses the overlock or surge seam because of the heavier weight slubby denim, and that a double felt seam might not necessarily be appropriate for that type of denim, even though the double felt seam is the strongest seam you can get. But these jeans are actually a super light 13.75 ounces, and they still have the overlock seam, so I'm starting to think that this is more of a reproduction kind of aesthetic detail rather than a utility detail. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just because it's actually more historically accurate. But other than that, I still really love these jeans. Anyways, going back to the belt loops, again, the same thing with the whole heritage repro kind of detail thing. I feel like these belt loops are not tucked in, which I feel like most Japanese denim pairs that I have are not, because again of that reproduction kind of aesthetic, that vintage aesthetic, keeping true to how Japanese denim was made when it first started and how the Levi's 501s were traditionally made, which is what started this whole movement. So I'm not entirely sure if that's the reason, but just beware that these don't have tucked in belt loops, and if that bothers you, then maybe these jeans aren't for you. But to be honest, these jeans are so special, they're so expertly done, the cotton is absolutely amazing, that I think any denim head, whether you're seasoned or unseasoned, should experience the way that something like this actually feels. And this is also, to me, honestly, probably the perfect introduction piece to raw denim as a whole if you've never had any pair of raw denim jeans before, because this is going to ease you into the process. It's not going to hurt you. And these are just the perfect starter pair for anyone that's getting into raw denim. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had a lot of fun talking about some of the history of the Osaka 5, even though we only covered full count. We only even scratched the surface of full count denim. And I've been thinking more and more about doing an Osaka 5 video because there really is a lack of information of the Osaka 5 on YouTube. I was only able to find one video from one of my favorite YouTubers, Drew Joyner, who has a really nice video that sums up all of the information very well. I'm gonna put the link in the description for you to watch. I definitely recommend it. And eventually we're actually gonna probably do our own, because I think that we can really dive into what the Osaka 5 is, because I feel like that knowledge deserves to be spread. And I can't wait to do it with you guys, so thank you so much. If there's any articles, informations, anything I should read on the Osaka 5, drop it down in the comments so this way I don't make any historical inaccuracies, and we can encompass all of the information that there is to offer on the Osaka 5, and we can spread that awareness together. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.